Hey, what's good, everybody? It's your boy Tony Max. You know I do it to the max. Coming at y'all live again with another great, fantastic episode of Truth to Life, where we discuss real life issues that affect real life people in real everyday life. Okay, y'all. In today's episode, what we're going to be discussing is the man's perspective on how and why we do certain things. And the particular certain thing that we're going to cover today is why black men leave black women. Why do they abandon their efforts to pursue black women? Ladies, have you ever wondered what is going on inside of the mind of a brother when he chooses to start dating other races and no longer is interested? Well, today, that's the topic that we're going to be digging into. Hope you got your pen and your pad. You ready? Come on, let's dig in. Okay, we're going to begin with reason number one. The main reason that this whole situation even exists in the first place is because of one thing and one thing only. And I've actually covered this in my last video. Submission. Ladies, submit, 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 submit. I understand that you guys have been done wrong. You know what, before I even go into that, I'm going to go ahead and cover it from your perspective. So guys, to all of my guys that are watching me, put on the ladies' shoes for a second. Just try to put yourself in their position and attempt to understand what's going on. Every woman at some point in time, maybe when she was a teenager, maybe in her early 20s, 30s, 40s, who knows? But at some point of her life, she completely opens herself up to some guy, right? What happens is that the guy, unfortunately, takes advantage of that and he dogs her out something bad. Does all the worst possible things that he could do to her. So as a result of that, once she comes out on the other side of that, that's made her a stronger person. And also, some of the side effects, the ramifications of that, is that she's now built up a wall. And that wall can sometimes be pretty high and pretty thick. And that's what you're running into, guys, when you run into these women who may seem on the surface that they are rebellious and don't want to comply and don't want to submit. Well, even they want to, but they want to make sure, or they have to make sure, that you're not going to treat them or mistreat them like the last guy did. And that's the struggle there. Okay, ladies, on our end, as guys, what we're dealing with is that because we're men, we're not trying to be arguing with you and tussling with you and wrestling with you to get you guys to do something. Whatever it is we ask you to do. We're not trying to go do all that. Especially if it's a reasonable request. If it's a reasonable, logical, rational request, we're not trying to go through all the extra. So what happens is that a lot of the guys, and I'm only speaking of men here, we'll cover the other two categories later. That would be reason number 2 and number 3. But right now we're dealing with reason number 1. So what we're dealing with within the confines of reason number 1 are good men. That's all I'm discussing here, are good men. And when I say good men, my definition of a good man is a man who listens to his woman, who respects his woman, who loves his woman, who gets up off his tail every day and goes out and works hard and brings that check home, and he's not running the streets, he's not doing the side piece thing, he's not doing none of the playboy stuff. He's just straight up interested in this particular woman and building a life with this woman. That's all I'm talking about right now. Okay? Well, what's happening in those situations, ladies, is that we know our value. We understand our worth. Just like you guys know your worth, we know ours as well. And we know we're not going to be going through all that extra. And we also know that I am not your ex. I'm not your ex. I'm not the dude that did none of that to you. This is what the guy is thinking in his head. And a lot of times, he also communicates that to you. Like, look, baby, you got to stop treating me like the dude that hurt you, because I ain't done nothing but love you and gave you what you wanted and took good care of you. But you still treat me like this dude that you got scarred by. So this is what creates the tension, and it destroys relationships because there's a tug of war, and she doesn't want to do what he wants her to do because she's still dealing with that trust issue as a result of those scars that she's received from the guy that did her wrong, and the vulnerability of opening herself up to you, guys, is a constant struggle. So it's really difficult for women, and we really have to try to take the time and understand their position as well, instead of just break camp on them and kick them to the curb and going somewhere else. Okay, now let me let me discuss the flip side of that when it comes to other races of women. Specifically, well, I ain't gonna say specifically, I mean white women, Latin women, or whatever. Sisters, you guys are the strongest, toughest, in my personal opinion, women, period, on the planet. And that's the reason why you have the so-called angry black woman syndrome. What the angry black woman mindset or syndrome is actually a misinterpretation of hurt, scorn, and disrespect, and basically just baggage from bad relationships, but it's actually strength. It's the strength and tenacity to pick yourself up and keep pushing forward. That's really what it is, but the outside and the media and everyone else that's not African American and understanding of our culture, they immediately interpret that as, oh, she's an angry black woman. Oh, let's get out of her way because she crazy. She crazy, y'all. She crazy. No, that's not what the deal is. The problem is that you've been hurt and they don't understand, and you have your walls up as a defense mechanism. So a lot of these things, they may come across as you're mean or you're angry, but it's not. It's just that you've been hurt and you're trying to prevent that from happening again. Okay? I'm Tony Max, baby. I'm with you. I'm on the same page. I understand. I wish I had 1,000,000 twins so we could just marry all y'all beautiful ladies out there, and the world would be a better place. You have fathers in the homes. You have better relationships. Everybody be on point. But that's not the situation. You know what I'm saying? So big game. So, okay, now going back to the guys. Guys, this is what's in their mind, and this is how they're perceived by the media and all of the world outside. And they're having to deal with these things. And it's a pain in the backside, man, when you're misinterpreted and misconstrued continuously on an ongoing basis. It's the same thing as racial profiling with us, or always assuming that because we black, we're going to be late for work, or because we black, we're going to be lazy. Come on, dog. All of the dudes that I know, and they all brothers, I know a couple of white folks and Latin folks, but the majority of the brothers I know, they got business, they own businesses, or they're actually very good employees, they're supervisors. They can say that I can use myself. I make it a point to get to work before everybody else. I'm the first one in, and I mean before the supervisor get there. And I can go back on my last 3 jobs. For real. And get confirmation on this from white guys and Latin guys that will definitely let you know, hey, yeah, Tony, you're gonna get there and make it do what it do. I'm the first one in and I'm the last one gone. Believe that. You can ask the neighbors on job sites or anything, because I don't expect nothing less from myself. This is the way that I operate, okay? That's just me. Now, this is the equivalence of how they feel when we treat them a certain way, guys. So, and when we perceive them a certain way, people who are not African American, message, pay attention, message, if you're not black, this is what you need to pay attention to. Rewind, play it again so you hear it and understand it clearly. Take notes, okay? Now, moving forward. Guys, instead of abandoning our sisters and going to white girls or Latin chicks or anything other, try to understand where they're coming from and communicate. Communicate. I'm going to say this again for those of y'all that got wax in your ears, or those of y'all that's just not paying close attention. Hey, listen. Tony's talking. Write this down. Communicate. Look her in her eyes. Let her speak. Allow her to ventilate. Let her vent on you. Let her speak. Just listen. Don't try to solve the problem. Don't try to recommend any solutions. Just relax and listen to how she feels. Okay? After she tells you what's going on with her, then you'll better be able to have an understanding of why her behavior is what it is. And then you can make the necessary adjustments, and y'all can try to work something out as a team and then move forward. And then, guys, once she sees that you care enough to listen and pay attention to what she's trying to tell you and to how she feels and the reasons why she feels this way and the reasons why she behaves this way, perhaps you'll be more inclined to relinquish those walls. Once those walls dissolve, then you in like Flynn, baby. You got everything you need. That's when the submission kicks in. That's when the compliance kicks in to the fullest. So these are the things that you need to understand to the fullest, bro. If you're not giving her the time and the attention and the effort in the relationship, if you don't feel like it's worth fighting for, to where you're not willing to do anything at all, then what's the point of being with you anyway? So that's why you got women that cheat, or that's why you got women that don't really pay you no attention, or got side dudes, or whatever the case may be, because you're not giving her the attention intellectually. It's not to be physical. It's not physically primarily. That's not the main deal. Women are emotional and intellectual creatures, and you have to communicate with them on that level, on that basis. And that's the reason why they end up having sex with these other guys, is because these guys give them the intellectual and emotional attention that they so desire. They need. They're emotional creatures. This is what they were created for. So it's our job to fulfill that. And the Playboys are the ones who understand how to do it best. Now, moving on to reason number 2. Second reason is because guys, when they in Playboy mode, shoot, it's just basically the best sex is new sex. So because they don't know nothing about it and it's new, that's the reason why they choose others. Like, shoot, I've been dealing with the sisters long enough. Let me go try these others and see what they got and what they working with. Not only that, but when they're doing that, they really don't care. It's not necessarily about a white girl thing or a Latin chick thing or something else. Or sometimes it may be. That may be what they just want as far as variety, because they still out there in Playboy mode and they're not on their grown man yet. So they're not trying to build that, they're just trying to knock something down. Okay, and reason number 3, the path of least resistance. So other chicks that are not sisters are more compliant than sisters are. Even though they may have been through whatever issues that they've been through in their life, they're just still, by nature and by culture, more compliant. So when we ask them to do something, it's a wrap. And a lot of times guys, they come and go as they please and do what they please, and that's not, good, but that's what it is. They just running around because they know little mama, she ain't finna put up all the fight that a sister is, so they gonna go for her because they know that they can run around and do what it is and run her in the ground. But a sister ain't finna tolerate that. She not finna stand for that. She gonna fight you tooth and nail every step of the way if you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing, fellas. But if you are doing what you're supposed to be doing and she's still giving you that, then all that static, then she not the one for you. That's what I just went through with my ex. I had the conversations, I was patient, and it wasn't really that bad. It wasn't that bad at all. It was really something else in my personal situation. It was more of a negativity thing, and I just refused to be around negative people, period. And I talked to her, I tried to understand, I recommended books to read, positive information to change the way that she thinks, but she didn't want to do the work. So, hey, if you're not willing to do the work, then that just tells me that you're not invested in this relationship like I'm invested in it. So at that point, that's when I had to go ahead and terminate things. So, with that being said, I hope this was helpful for you ladies and for you guys to understand the different dynamics of paradigm shifts that we both deal with on both sides. Anyway, hey, thank y'all for joining us again on another great episode of Truth to Life. You know it's your boy, Tony Max. I do it to the max. Hey man, don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Hit that button down there. My bad, down there. And don't forget, man, check out my clothing line. I got a P.L.A.Y.A. You can look in the top right hand corner up there. Click the link. I got some music up there. Click the link. Get whatever you like. If you hear something you like, if you don't, no problem, man. I still appreciate all the love and all the support, man. I love y'all, ladies. I'm for y'all, man. Hey, I'm for y'all. And the good men, because there's a lot of brothers that are really good men, I'm for y'all too. It's us. This is a movement about the positive side of our culture. Screw all the negativity. I'm not with none of that. I ain't trying to hear none of that. You ain't gonna never hear me preach on none of that. I'm not gonna teach none of that. I'm not gonna comment on none of that. That's not what I'm about. I'm about everything positive, everything soul brother, and everything soul sister. And just because I'm for my people, which is black people, that does not mean that I'm against or anti any other people. But I am pro-black. Best believe that to the fullest, because I'm tired of all of the negative connotations that are associated with our people. Anyway, with saying that, thank y'all again, man. I appreciate your love. Holla at your boy. Love y'all out.